So I think we're going to be starting with a very easy one that we received on YouTube, which was from Pabshot Singh. Oh, I'm sorry about the name. Pabshot Singh on YouTube. He asked, which city in NZ have most number of jobs? All right, so it's very simple. Which one are the largest city in New Zealand? But before we start talking about that, I just want to preface that for a lot of places in New Zealand, you're going to have a lot of jobs, but also a lot of competition. So very often, you are actually much better off going to a place that have much less jobs, but much less people looking for jobs. And so that usually is a very strong consideration when you actually try to find a job somewhere in New Zealand.
Yeah, finding a job in a small town is usually as quick as that, really. But yeah, compared to a big city where you are competing with loads of different, loads of people trying to find a job, then that's when things get a bit harder. So if you are really seriously trying to find a job, then actually maybe avoid the cities.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, to answer the question, in just sheer number, the amount of job, if you count how many jobs is there available, the number one city will be Auckland. It's because it's the most populated city in New Zealand. I think it has more than half the New Zealand population within just that one city.
Yeah, I think
not more half, sorry, more than a quarter of the population.
Yeah, it's got more people living in Auckland than the South Island altogether.
Exactly. So there is a lot of people there. So therefore, there is a lot of jobs. But that also means that there is a lot of applicants for every job, and Kiwis love changing jobs. So there is going to be a lot of competition all the time.
So you're not just competing with other like travelers or backpackers, you're also competing with all the locals as well. So
the next one would be Christchurch.
Yeah, so Christchurch is the largest city in the South Island. It's a little easier to find jobs in Christchurch than it is in Auckland, particularly in fields like construction, where they are actually still doing the rebuild from the earthquake they had in 2010. So there's definitely a lot of jobs in construction going in Christchurch. But again, for other sort of jobs in other industries, you might find a little bit more competition, again, because there's also
a lot of IT. In Christchurch, surprisingly enough, there is a lot of IT jobs as well in Christchurch, which is quite cool. So so Christchurch obviously does have a lot of jobs, and to be quite honest, we do prefer Christchurch, like as when we advise people to where to find a job in New Zealand, just because the competition is much lower. So there is a great amount of job and a very small amount of people applying for jobs. So getting a job in Christchurch is very, very fast, and also you're on the South Island already, which is the most beautiful part of New Zealand. So you'll be able to go on road trips and everything. So Christchurch is a very strong contender for like the best place to go to if you want to look for a job.
Yeah.
Now, still going with the sheer number of jobs, not how easy it is to get jobs, the sheer number of jobs. Next one is Wellington.
Yeah. So Wellington is the capital city of New Zealand,
is it?
And it is located at the very south of the North Island. Again, by being the capital city, there are plenty of jobs available across loads of different industries, whether it's retail, hospitality, tourism, sort of warehouse jobs and that sort of thing as well. So there's really a wide range of jobs to choose from. Again, there's going to be the most competition, especially within the city centre of Wellington, but think about some of the outer regions of Wellington as well. There's regions like the Wairarapa, there's the Kapiti Coast, Upper Hutt, Lower Hutt, all those sort of areas as well. So if you can't find a job within the city centre of Wellington, then think about branching out to some of those outer suburbs as well, where there's more likely to be a little less competition.
And being the capital city of New Zealand, Wellington also does have a lot of administration related jobs, and that includes also a lot of IT type of jobs, which is something that a lot of people kind of forget. So if you're looking for this kind of office and white collar jobs, well, usually Wellington is the best spot for you guys to go to because, well, you know, it's the capital city, so there is all the services, like, you know, the tax kind of people, there is the social service kind of people, there is, you know, all those kind of government basically organizations are all there, plus the parliament and all those kind of things. So that's a lot of stuff, and a lot of countries also have the embassy in either Wellington or Auckland, and so for this reason there is some jobs in those kind of places as well. So it's a very kind of international city, and actually it has been voted one of the most livable capital in the world, and yeah, so it's a pretty cool, it's a pretty good place to live in.
Yeah.
Okay, and lastly, on the top 4 of the city with the most number of jobs, not where it's easy, but the most number of jobs, it is Tauranga.
Yeah, so Tauranga is quite an interesting place to work because there is some quite different types of jobs available. You know, of course, you've got all your city sort of jobs, again, retail, hospitality, working in warehouses, that sort of thing that has all that there, but it also is surrounded by a lot of fruit growing regions, so there's a lot of jobs going for kiwi fruit picking, working in different types of orchards as well. So if you're looking for an easy entry level job, you know, if you've got no experience in pretty much anything, or if you're looking for something that you are like, so you can maybe improve your English or something like that, then there's a lot of opportunity for fruit picking around Tauranga. And a really cool thing about Tauranga as well is that there's a lot of working hostels there. So there's backpacker hostels where you can go there, and if you do stay there long term, they can help you find a job pretty much for free, super easy. So that's really a good way to sort of kickstart your time in New Zealand with getting a pretty easy job to get.
Yeah, and an extra tip about Tauranga, if you are looking for if you're looking to buy a car to get yourself a bit of freedom during the gap year in New Zealand and travel around, Tauranga actually has some of the cheapest kind of used car and used camper van companies that you can get there. There is even some companies over there which actually offer buyback schemes, meaning that they can sell you your car and then buy them back from you. And you know, it's usually something that you can only find in Auckland, but Tauranga start having some of those as well, which is really handy. So Tauranga for us is a very strong contender for like where to get started with your gap year in New Zealand and where to go and find a job and settle yourself for a little bit. Also the fact that, you know, it's such a cheap bus ride from Auckland, it's you know, sometimes go down to like $15 in some days, so it's really awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our take on the places in New Zealand that have the most jobs. Again, this is not the places in New Zealand where it's going to be the easiest for you to find a job. There are some places which are much easier than that, but it's going to be the one which has the sheer amount in like high amount of numbers of jobs available.
And probably the biggest variety of jobs as well. If you want to dabble in a few different things, maybe there's more opportunity.
Yeah, I mean that's what gap year is anyway.
Yeah.
You kind of want to try a couple of different jobs rather than just like going, you know, just doing the one thing you used to do at home and everything. It's just boring, you know. So it's kind of like new experiences over here. All right, cool. So if you did find this video useful, like and subscribe. We're always here to help. And in the meantime, we're getting back to the live chat.